Hey everyone, how's it going? So today we're going to be taking a look at my somewhat new purchase of the Marshall DSL 50H. It's a 50-watt tube head. It's got two channels, shared EQ, an actual real spring reverb, which I was totally unaware of until recently when I took the back plate off. I looked inside and sure enough there was a big Acoustitronics, I think that's what it's called, Accutronics, something like that. Spring reverb tank in there, and kind of made me take a second look at the reverb, and it turns out it's actually pretty good. Okay, let's just take a quick look at the front of this amp and just kind of get an overall general feel for what it's like to use. Running the Marshall DSL 50 into my Fender Bassbreaker cab, loaded with two Celestion V types. It's running at 16 ohms. And I just kind of dialed it in real quick. Right now, let's just start. We're all good. Tone demo start on the surprisingly good clean channel of this amplifier. You know, most people, like I said before, go to Marshall for the dirt, and yeah, it makes sense because that's kind of what they do really well. But this also happens to have a really fantastic clean sound. Spring reverb. It's shaking everything. This thing is extremely loud. And it's got a little chorus too, why not? Or a little Boss flanger, a little BF3. Okay, that's a great sound. That's a great sound. Like I said, it's very JTM 45y. It's kind of has a very nice kind of lush sound. So let's turn the reverb off just so we can really hear the tone of the amp. And then I'll put on my handy dandy Defenders here because this is like I said, this is a really loud amp, and then we'll start cranking up the gain a little bit on like the cleaner channels so we can really start getting like some crunch going on, because I think this does that really nicely as well. So yeah, we're still on the clean sound, and let's just max the gain out here. Just tap it all the way out. Got some bass, added some mids. Let's add in Boss DS1. Let's turn that. Chunky. Let's turn that tone up just a little bit so it kind of defines. Okay, well that's enough fun with the DS1. I just wanted to show you guys how the clean channel reacts with pedals, and including ones that can kind of be a little bit difficult sometimes, like the DS1. It's not that kind of modern pedal where you can just put it in anything, any clean channel, and it'll work great. So this is a really great platform for pedals. As you know, as you heard there, like that's just a massive sound. It sounds really good. We're gonna move on to the crunch mode, where I think, yeah, this is probably one of my favorite parts of the amplifier. It just really sounds good. Like it just has this great kind of AC/DC. You're gonna hear me play a lot of AC/DC. By the way, this is a Tokai LS128F with Gibson Custombuckers in it. 7.7K output, 8.2 or something in the neck. Really low output pickups, so a lot of the gain, the heaviness you're going to hear from this amp comes from the amp. I'm not pushing it with a Seymour Duncan Invader or something, or a Seymour Duncan Blackout, or some crazy high output pickup. So all the gain you're hearing is really coming from the amp, and this is kind of just making just a nice tone, which this guitar sounds great. Let's put these back on so I don't die. The idea. Classic Marshall crunch, to the nth degree. It just is that sound. You can just approach something. It's there's no wanting to be that sound there. It just is, and I think it is all the better for it. Okay, so let's click over to the fun channels, which is the ultra gain. So right now we're on the lead 1, and I'm going to put this in drop D because this channel, it really reminds me of some Tool kind of stuff. So let's just do some quick around 5 or 6-ish. great sound there. Like it's very inspiring to play, and I just can't get over how good this thing sounds. We're just going to quickly jump over to the lead 2 mode, and if you can hear, I don't know if you can hear this or not, but there's more hiss coming from the amp. So that means you know you're in for a good time. Anyways, so yeah, this is the lead 2 mode. Loads of gain. Like, I'm gonna scoop out the mids just a touch here, put it around 4 or so. And I haven't really touched the EQ too much. We're just kind of here just to get an idea of what the amp sounds like and just kind of get some tone going. All right, yeah, this is the lead 2 mode on the Marshall DSL 50. Loads of gain, lots of thickness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so in quick recap, this thing sounds absolutely amazing. It goes from really nice cleans to amazing crunch to just incredible gain tones. I think in the current kind of climate when it comes to people, talking about, high gain Marshalls, I think, in the world of people talking about Friedman's nonstop, this amp is just like, it's just an amp just waiting for someone to come along and plug into it. And remember, I'm not using any pedals. All the tones you heard from that lead 2 sound was completely from, picking technique and, guitar and the amp. So this thing is extremely tight sounding. It does not need any pedals to get it to chug insanely hard. This is like just one of the coolest, most inspiring, most just awesomest sounding amps I've ever owned, and this easily contends with my my Fender. Is just off camera here. My Fender Bassbreaker 45, which I've had for about 2 years now, probably over 2 years, and I went through a lot of amps that tried to kind of take it away from its throne, from a Mesa Mark V 35 to a Marshall JVM. Which, if you're looking in this kind of realm of Marshall amp, whether it's the JVM or this, do not get a JVM. Those are a waste of your time. They don't sound, let's just turn that off there. Turn it off. And those don't sound nearly as good as one of these. This has the great clean channel. It's got the great crunch. It's like, what more do you really want? From just a great sounding, yeah. anyways, I could talk about this all day, and if I probably have by the end of this video here. But yeah, like this thing is just an amazing sounding amp. You just like, you know, I know a lot of people say, well, it's really bright and fizzy. Well, when you're in a band and you have a loud drums, and a loud bass, especially when you're at, you know, like the practice area or whatever, you got nothing mic'd up and it's just all, you know, coming from here. You need that. You need that insane sizzle. You need that crazy, you know, what seems to be crazy brightness. Because as soon as you're in a band, you know, and all those other frequencies get eaten up, you know, in your sound, that's what's going to come out and punch through the mix. That sizzle, that's what you're going to hear. And that's when you're going to say, man, this sounds good, you know. All right, well, I've gone on long enough about this amplifier. If you're interested in getting one, go on Reverb, go check one out. You know, you will not regret getting one of these because you are guaranteed, you know, to find a sound in this that you will like. There is not like, it's not like a, you know, like other amps that I've tried, like I've said, like those previous amps where, you know, yeah, they might have a lot of features and, you know, a lot of stuff on paper, but, you know, when it comes to just delivering the goods, they kind of lacked a little bit. I think, you know, like besides like the Mesa Mark 535, which, I mean, that was an incredible amp, I think I just didn't know how to dial that one in super well because I just couldn't yet fully wrap my head around, you know, the Mesa thing. But, you know, this versus the JVM, this wins out 10 times over because it's easier to dial in, it sounds better, it's probably more affordable, and, you know, it works better with pedals, whereas a JVM gain channels did not. This thing is just an absolute monster. If you want great rock tones, check it out. If you want great heavy metal tones, like, of course, you know, what I was playing is kind of my definition of heavy metal. You know, I don't know how it'll handle like a 7 or 8 string, but I'm sure, you know, if you hit it with a Boss SD1 or something, you know, it would handle it just fine. All right, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for sitting through me rambling about this amplifier, because it just sounds really great. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.